not a factor there. That's the big change up in CSGO.
Yeah,
but we are getting ready to go.
Yep, let's get it underway. So first round, NiP versus Team EnVyUs. EnVyUs have been given the CT side by NiP. This is map number 1 of the best of 3. The winner advancing forward, and the loser has to go up against Fnatic in the first lower bracket
there's
final.
no easy way through this tournament. Let's face it.
There really isn't. Well, no aggressive movement coming out anywhere. Both mid, A main and B are all very, very safe here from NiP. So everyone's being patient to start off our first round.
As we can see just in front of us, that bomb is placed down intentionally, so they are working out for picks on the pistol round. Passively over toward B, no less, but they've got it fanned out.
This is how EnVyUs also love running their defense. They keep a lot of players stacked over on B side. It allows for the boost up into the vents, and then you can bring those extra supports into mid or potentially rotate into A a lot quicker.
That's the key. They have to go for the boost on vent early if they want to get a fast rotation. Otherwise, it's the long way around, and they play for the retake on A. But they're actually already reading into this. There's 50 seconds left. They haven't seen anyone show up at B. They've pulled 2 players all the way back over toward the truck side. Actually, I take that back. Keo's gone in towards Z Connector, but here comes NiP down middle, and Alu finds NBK to start.
Yeah, can Smiths hold the site though? They're locking them up on that ramp, and then comes the support in from the A long. NiP, the plant will be going down, and not a single casualty of war right now. NiP, in fact, they're getting a little happy as well. Shox, how much can he take? Only 1, however, is the last player, Kiyoshima, and well, one-on-one battle with Alu, he will not win. Ninjas in Pajamas take the first pistol round, with only Freiburg being the casualty.
So they pick the T side, they get the pistol. Build up 3 rounds, hopefully, and then it's just full gas pedal. They can't let down at all, and again, they've got to watch. Once the guns come out, they've got to watch EnVyUs and how they're going to play aggressively. And for the first time today, we are going to see the second round scout. Shox is going to go immediately into it.
Yeah, EnVyUs are buying up for this. They know this is the critical round. A lot of SMGs for Ninjas in Pajamas while they're running the Galils. Only 1 AK in the hands of Freiburg. But they know with the pistols and when you got AKs, taking out mid's a lot easier. So this is that mid control they enjoy. Break the vents, so Team EnVyUs will have to keep their eyes a little bit closer over on the B side.
Look at Smiths though, already up A main.
Yeah, he needs as much information as possible.
Freiburg needs to check in the back corner, make sure he doesn't get caught. There is Happy sitting and waiting.
God, check left, Freiburg. God, check left. He does it. Happy actually able to outshoot Freiburg with that AK. And the rest of the support's coming in from the CTs. Watch with the vents area, because they're going to try and pincer an NiP. Already NBK going to work with the Uzi. Smiths with the CZ. And Get Right's the last man left alive. A solid round for Team Envy.
So they hold strong. That AK went down. They recovered it right away, but the damage already dealt. Get Right got domed up when he tried to run across to get underneath Heaven. And those 2 rotators coming over from the A side collecting kills as well. Envy just completely goes back to their normal ways. They're known for their eco rounds. They used to be LCCZ back in the day when that was the prominent gun. Now it doesn't matter what they're working with.
That was just so quick as well. The fact that they were able to retake the mid, because NiP, they pushed a lot of players in through the mid, then come in through the B main, but there was no extra control after that point. NiP went in, and then you try and look behind you, you lose your AK quickly, but you get stalled up. The plan takes a little bit too long. And Smiths, well, Uzi versus jump position. There's still some weapons in here for NiP, and nice nade, actually tagging up 3 players from NiP.
Won't get the easy start they want in this round, let alone the last. You see 4 is still just waiting up there for an opportunity to come over top and counter peek, but
when Shox has got that scout watching him, it's very difficult to do so. They're worried about just losing that initial player. Get Right's already going to go down to that nade from Kiyoshima. This is going to be the stealthy move over to A. They're bringing the bomb up through A main and then try and bring 2 more up through highway. But to do that, they have to secure mid, and Smiths, he's waiting there. NBK on top of the forklift. Looks over towards Squeaky. As Exist is going to open it, that's going to reveal the fact that one's over there. And starts to spray, already brought down by Alu. So the numbers, not in the advantage of here of EnVyUs. In fact, that scout from Shox already moving in, but Exist and Forest, they're making some space over on A. The rotation is coming, though, from EnVyUs.
And crucially picking up the second rifle as well. Freiburg now has the FAMAS. So with the bomb down, they might be able to squeak out this round. They've got to be careful. Smith's still down low on the highway. But watch the flank, more importantly, as Kiyoshima's coming in from A main.
I don't think they can take this. All they can look for is exit frags now. They've taken too long to kill off all 3 players and still get onto the bomb to get the defuse. You got 1 player. Like, Keo does have the kit, but now he's out way too far. Forrest will gun down Smiths, and Keo's left over at A main. And he's very, very visible. battling out with a Tech 9 up against Exist. Can't even get that kill. So it will be 1-2 now the rounds.
And yeah, NiP answers back immediately. They had to do that. Need to limit the mistakes as much as possible.
Actually, check out Get Right. So far, 3 rounds in, not a single kill. Normally, we talk about him being that space creator, but
well,
right now, he's doing his job. He's doing his job. It's nothing against him. It's just the fact that Forrest and Arlo are the ones getting up in the fights.
Yeah, I mean, typically Get Right's at his best when he's able to close out rounds. We haven't really gotten that deep into them because we've been not really in traditional rounds yet based on the weaponry and how it's played out. But once we see the guns come out, we'll see him come alive. And again, both teams kind of on this staggered buy. NiP trying to get full control of the money by utilizing these SMGs, and we're going to see again an MP7, a MAC-10, and a UMP out to complement the rifles.
Get Right can get that pick in mid. They can make so much space. So far, the Molotovs keeping the site pretty well lit up as, MBK point-blank range battle with Exist. He's able to get the upper hand. They bring down Happy at the back of the bomb site too. And we're into a 4. Make that 3-on-1 situation. There's 2 very quick return kills with Keo being involved in Shocks. The last man left standing, trying to come in through truck side. He's got players on all sides of him at the moment, apart from his back. But he gets through Freiburg, switches over towards the M4, but there's no bullets inside of it. He has to reload quickly and caught out while doing so. Forrest will get the kill, and that's 3 rounds to 1 in favor of NiP on T side.
So now we'll see the big guns come out.
Our first real buy round, or
we
no?
know, so they actually forced up just too much in the last one. So NiP look to go 4-1 if they can hold this, and they will go to the rifles. They'll upgrade at least. That way they won't have to rebuy when the guns do come out. So 5.7. I think that 2.57's a P250. But no armor, no nades on the CT side.
Yeah, the money bonus will make up for that one in the next round anyway.
They're going to drop through middle. No smokes to work with, but that doesn't matter. They've got the firepower and the SMG up close. Jumps around the corner. I'm sorry, I thought this was made by Valve, not Activision.
Ooh. I would say that's a low blow, but it's just accurate.
And he's going to continue on up the highway as well.
Get Right. I love this little battle we have in our picture-in-picture on the B side. Freiburg, he's checking every single corner. He's got to look left, and yep, there it is. And, well, the expression on the face is just like, I lost that.
Well, no less, it's all left to Shocks. He does have this 5.7, hasn't been able to pick up a rifle yet. Again, it was 2 SMGs up with these rifles.
Well, Get Right's already watching for the exact spot. Takes him a fair amount of damage, down to 24, but he'll wrap it up. And Ninjas in Pajamas. Back-to-back rounds. Obviously, that was the pistol round from EnVyUs, and now we'll start to see the money coming in here for the CTs. Still not at the point where they could buy up these AWPs, and that was what really made EnVyUs so amazing during their group stages. It was that ability to run the double AWPs. You look aggressively into B, and you look aggressively into A main, and then there's just no way the Ts could push up without casualties. But they're not at that point yet.
Kiyoshima's going back toward middle this time. We'll start to see this double presence. So again, different teams play mid very differently. We see the double op from Fnatic fanning out on either bomb site with a 3-stack mid on rotations. We see Apex play it solo oftentimes if Kenny's not comfortable there with the op for Titan. And usually what you see from EnVyUs is a 2-man middle. Right now they're actually favoring with NBK on highway as well, but quick rotation back over to first smoke out and they have to respond.
Man, they bring so many players over here just by throwing out these 3 smokes. But initially, the engagement was coming up through mid, so they could just still take this bomb over to the B side if they can get one down. But MBK and Keo, they're just so tight in the defense.
Well, that's the big thing is that Kiyoshima just picked up that kill at middle. It was traded out, but him by dropping that first player over the top of the boost makes this B push a lot weaker. Yes, there's only one player directly in the site, but then they've got to play for these retakes. They have to get the bomb down almost immediately. Happy's already at the bottom side of heaven, and Get Right has to hold him off. Not only that, they've got company coming in through vents as well.
It's a very defensive bomb plan, though, so they have to defend from in the site. Get Right takes out one.
Now
so Freiburg will watch for the drop down the left outside the vents. MBK is coming up on the right, however, and now he gets a battle, tagging into Shocks. They're both very low, the EnVyUs players. Shocks going even lower now. Get Right moving up so we can get some crosses. Wondering if someone's coming in from the side. They're looking up, and there's number 1. Can Get Right take number 2 and keep the rounds? Yes, he can! 5 rounds to 1 in favor of NiP. So I can at least say we're going to bypass that whole 16-3 scoreline, but a lot of people were predicting.
That's exactly where Get Right comes alive, closing out on the rounds. So clutch. Staggering that peak, too, because it was predictable where he was. So the second player, as MBK drops down, it was Shocks, who fires away, and Get Right just dodges those first bullets. Says, all right, I'll peek back out, and then catches him off guard with the secondary peek. So NiP 5 already T-side. They elected to start this way. They wanted to do it difficult.
Yeah.
So far, it's been easy.
It's paying off. Team EnVyUs back into this pistol as well as scout run, but Alu's also managed to grab that AWP. So he's trying to win the battle in mid, which EnVyUs is not obliging him. Instead, they keep 4 players in, over on A, looking to get aggressive on A main to get as much vision as possible. NBK is doing the scout jump, looking down highway. But knowing this, NiP can just push into the B side. There's still that one defender, and is Happy again in exactly the same corner. Hasn't mixed it up, moves out to attack. That's the only mix-up there.
Nice shot with the jumping scout, though. NBK takes the head off of Forrest. It looked like they were going to open it up unscathed. Pushing through the smoke, Smiths finds Alu's off on the opposing side. Not exactly the welcome he was looking for, so the bomb will go down here for NiP. They need to make sure not to give up too many more kills, though, is the big thing, because if they start giving away these deaths and giving away the guns, it's going to hurt them down the road.
And EnVyUs can't see anything. How are they meant to get back in there until NBK can potentially get a pick off here, which he's doing with the whole jump. Checking the back corner, checking the left, while it's very, very high defense on top of the side. And there we go. Get Right will bring down NBK. There goes Kiyoshima, and NiP will mop up the round.
And another 3K for Get Right. So now he's definitely stepping into the limelight.
It's amazing what happens when you can start getting those kills in mid, and as the boys in the panel were saying, that it's all about mid control.
Exactly. Finding these early picks and not giving up too much in return.
Double up. Smiths and Happy.
Yeah, Happy's going to pick it up. Usually Smiths will run this middle and Happy will go over toward the A side, but I think they're actually reversing it. Well, it's Smiths at B and Happy on A, so they're actually going for more of a Fnatic setup. They are putting
look how quick NiP are coming in. Happy's watching down long A, but he's going to get caught out here. NBK, well, Willie. Then again, NBK hiding in the outside of the smoke. That nade from Exist looks to be pretty much on target as NBK gets dropped by Alu.
It's not. The nade didn't hit, so he's still up in the backside of the site. The fire's taking Shoxy even lower. But that was a bit of a whiff. They had to get NBK through that smoke, and by not doing so, EnVyUs now has full control of holding off. They've rotated over. Kiyoshima picks up a kill on the way around as well, and now it's just Exist on 4 HP and Alu because Get Right's caught from Happy, who never got answered pushing up long.
Yep. And Get Right knew, like, you couldn't bring any support that way, but what are you going to do? You're going to run up highway after EnVyUs is quite firmly secured the A side. And because your bomb carrier ran in, it was so obvious. They had no option to switch back to B.
And again, you get that early kill on NBK through the smoke where it looked like Forrest was spamming away. Then things open up. Then you can actually push forward, get a secondary smoke out toward Truck, get the bomb plant down, regardless of whether or not Happy's at long. Then he has to turn around and play in reverse, and you just hold him out the backside. The door is easy to control when you're up close. But you don't get the first kill, and look what happens. I mean, Happy is left with the room because they're still dealing with NBK, and the round completely gets torn apart. And already NBK this time is going to catch Freiburg, so they've got the first blood to work with again. Almost two, but Exist gets lagged up. Does get the shot on Happy. Shox pushes forward, though.
Happy had 2 options for that one. He was unable to get both of them, but luckily for him, the rest of his teammates are coming to the party. It's just up to Alu as well as Forrest, and Forrest has flamed out the mid garage. And he's just lost his teammate Alu. So 1 or 2 pickoffs here. Nope, can't get any of them. Just damages, Shox, but that is all. And EnVyUs starting to get some back-to-back rounds here. And NiP, they can be forced. Either it's a forced buy or they just try and save up for the next.
Well, crucial as well that went back-to-back because we had 5 rounds in a row for NiP. When it got tied up at 1, NiP took the next 5, so money bonus got fully reset. EnVyUs doesn't win that, especially with the double op investment. They're forced to save up here, and then NiP can go beyond 6, which is already a great start. So this is an important round. This brings things back a lot closer, and again, they're sticking with this double op. And again, Happy's going to go right to long.
Yep. He doesn't want to he's making sure they can't get attacked from 2 sides on A. Now, Forrest is there waiting for him while the rest of the battle is going over on an A main. That's why Happy's now brought his eyesights back over there. It's kind of funny though, with the double AWP situation, normally they don't just look towards the A long, they're trying to control A main. But so far, EnVyUs haven't peaked that once.
And by doing it, they're relying on NBK to be the guy to rotate back up highway very quickly as Kiyoshima goes back into Freiburg as well.
All that smoke in mid. They're still able to find the kill. So just patience from NiP. That's not really what they want. It's patience from EnVyUs, which is perfect. You're running double AWP and 2 AK. Like, NiP are the ones that have to the surprise come in, but you've got 4 flashes now. One of them's going to be thrown out. There goes your second one as well. Still 1 smoke available, and they throw it over on the A side, and it's forced the rotation for the B players out, while there's a bit of a floater in the mid for NiP. Where's the push out? Here comes Forrest. Get Right's already brought down one, but
does he not
Happy's going to
connect that?
outgun him. I don't know, but Happy takes two. And the Shocks will mop up Get Right in the middle. All the bullets in the wall can't do anything unless they hit the player.
Forrest has to be kicking himself over that. Pretty much drew his silhouette on the wall, but never put one through him. So the 5-7 gets 2 in response. They get up to 4, and NiP's broken.
They need to compose themselves. They need to find some composure. It's not going to be on this round. It's pistol only, so may as well just YOLO this. While EnVyUs just hold tight, don't lose. Well, they've only got one AWP now, at least. But
And this is where you talked about staying composed. Yes, normally there the mental game against EnVyUs is weak because, yeah, it's been very hard for them in recent. Oh, that smokes. They run through it. They actually get by Smiths, but
it's the information. It's the information more than anything else. Smokes and Molotovs went up into the vents. Actually, Get Right's able to get the kill on Smiths.
BK does go back into him, though, so that'll get evened up.
Yeah, but you're still running pistol versus rifles, and the more you get, the better it is for your round. As Happy again going to work with that pistol. Exists is still the last man left standing, but you at least brought the CTs down to 2 AKs.
But to go back to my point, NiP finally have a nice lead against EnVyUs. They're starting to build into it. They're normally not in this position, or at least not recently against these guys. They can start to get confident. As soon as they start to overextend and these rounds start slipping away, they need to be careful not to fall off of it and get discouraged. They need to stay in it now, and it's important that they don't let this lead completely deteriorate. Sure, if it goes 6-6, that's one thing. And much beyond that, and NiP is going to be right back into the doldrums where they've been so many times in this matchup. As Alu's looking now with his op out at the T side over toward B main.
Well, he's realizing that the battle in mid is just not being granted to him. So the only other choice is to try and look for that early AWPer of EnVyUs, which is looking down that B main entrance. In this case, it's Smiths, and also Smiths didn't give him the shot. Finally,
EnVyUs going to do it. This is exactly what they did to NiP so many times in the last one. Forrest does get Happy before this all goes down, but Shocks knows there's a player directly below him.
And that's Exist. Looking up.
And he gets him, so Exist this time too smart. He's been caught there before in that exact position, and this time he catches off Shocks, so it's a 2-man advantage.
NiP's going to try and hold this, though. So far, I'd say if Happy was still alive, it's still possible, but Alu and Forrest teaming up. Now they're the ones with the 2 AWPs in hands. And Kiyoshima is the last man left standing in mid. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they're coming to plant the B site. Kiyo, Get Right's in the perfect corner. Chance of Kiyo checking. He's checking every single crevice, but if he checks right, he can get shot from the left back, just jumps up. So Get Right will mop him up. And there's 7 rounds to 5 for NiP. As we hit the 13th round, they're getting some really good work out of this T side.
Look at the money Shocks had to start the round, though. Plus 10K, he's already bought into a rifle that he's thrown over for a teammate, but they've got a lot to work with. In fact, he's going to go right for an op afterward.
Yeah, but if they end up losing this round, it's still going to be pretty tight for the next one as far as cash goes. And that means that NiP, if they can take this round, they could be looking at, I'm not going to say a 10-5, because it still can go anywhere with the 15th round. But NiP, they should be very happy with their T performance so far.
Oh, and I love the approach of starting out T against Envy. I mean, if you start CT, you don't get enough rounds. You're just bashing your head against the wall by trying to force out so many rounds T side. Why not get the hard job done first, figure out exactly where you stand, and then play to your strengths when you get on the CT side, because you know what you can sacrifice. So this might be the perfect answer just mentally against Envy right now. Misthrown from Shocks.
Yeah.
And in fact, blinds himself up long enough to stand in the fire, so that went 2 ways. Not only could he not peek, he gives himself some damage as a response.
He couldn't get himself out of that corner until the smoke got dropped down. Get Right is going to arrive after he's already managed to leave, so they protect that AWP while Happy is able to give an even a bigger advantage to EnVyUs. As it's a 5-on-3 situation. Get Right, he's able to get the first kill for Ninjas in Pajamas this round. But they're down to both Alu as well as Freiburg. Now the money might still be there for NiP for the next round, but it's not a great position for them to try and get in, especially when these kind of trade-offs happen. It's Alu versus the world. He needs early frags. Look up, can't find the first one. Sees another over on Catwalk, but they're in so close. There's your first one for Alu. Looking up, there's your second one as well. Going big, and look at that. It's just like it's not even an effort on his face.
And he's got plenty of time to put the bomb down because Kiyo's still on Speedway.
He's coming up a long way too. Alu's going to have the best vision here.
He needs to be careful that he doesn't let him cross. He saw that nade come out, but overextends. And with 27 HP, it all gets collected, so best effort's not enough, and it's going to go to defuse. Keeps us close, but Alu, what a heroic play to even pull that back to begin with. 2 up-close shots that he had no business hitting.
Yep. But the fact he was able to punish his EnVyUs as far as their money goes, like, yeah, they come out with a win for the round, but Like, we'll wait until we get back into it in real time. We'll see just how much money is there for EnVyUs for the buy. It can't be that much. They've at least got enough for the AWP as well as a whole bunch of M4s. So they're looking quite good for their weapons. But there can't be much left in the kitty.
Again, that round started off well for NiP, but fell apart late. Just see the smokes come in. Look at that one. So cheeky.
Heavy smokes. Just clip it, man. Just clip it. So all this range defense of EnVyUs kind of goes to waste. But Keo's so aggressively up in the mid that they know they're not going to get done from highway. So Shocked just plays a nice little angle out from the forklift, which means they can also get that crossfire. But Freiburg can get right. They're through. Exist can look up to the ticket booth. That's where he can bring down Happy. There is one coming in from the truck side. Exist almost caught getting back, but they cannot get the victory anyway. And 8 rounds now for Ninjas in Pajamas as we go into the last round of the first half.
Very well thought out from Exist. Knew that Shocks went down, opens up forklift, checks it off, passively pushes forward as soon as this smokes out, uses it to his advantage, knows Happy's somewhere on the speedway. He's already shot twice at that point, and he just takes his time. Why rush out? In case he is looking at you, in case he's not looking at a teammate. And then the second shot was just beautiful all the way back to the truck side. But that first peek was everything to keep the backside of the site open, allow them to get the bomb down. So double scout on the last round. They bought out everything they can.
Oh,
and it's double scout, 3 pistols.
Just jump it, man. Just jump it. Rely on that wonderful balance of CSGO, a.k.a. balance while you're in the air. And there it is, Alu gets his scalp taken off. There's still a revenge kill onto Smiths. But you managed to get rid of the AWP of NiP. Flashes, Molotovs. They're trying to flush EnVyUs out of that back corner of the A site, which is where Freiburg is up to. Jumps up a little bit further so we can see Catwalk over towards the truck. He knows one's going to be on the left because Happy's been there almost every single time. He's just going with prediction of play. And NiP to get that plant down. They're looking pretty secure here.
Watch the flank though. Shocks is coming around. He's picked up the AWP as well. So they've got the scout that already picked up 2 from NBK. And now this AWP, and Shocks is going to find Freiburg. They have to answer him immediately because the second player is going to be spawning up from the front side as well. So now they've got full control. Exist has to hit this first one. Knows exactly where Shocks is. He can bait out the timer on this bomb. And Shocks keeps the AWP over the top. Doesn't even matter. He doesn't have a kit. Or does it? It's going to be close. He's got it. Yeah, he's got it.
He's got all the time in the world. Getting the 7th round now at the end of the half for EnVyUs. What a play from him. Able to get that AWP of Alu's and then come back around the A main. Get right. It was like the easy company tradition. Get shot in the ass. He was moving backwards into him after he already had a teammate taken out. So I'm guessing miscommunication came in from NiP.
Yeah, no, I mean, they had no idea that he was there. Get right should have been able to respond. You're right, but still they were focused out toward the truck side. And Shocks over the top. That was unexpected with the AWP and completely caught off the last player. That gives them round. So 8-7, that's still a reasonable score line again, but NiP, they've had, when they won, again, Thorne said they have big numbers on this map, T-side. 8's not necessarily a big number. 8-7's pretty normalized. Sure, they won it on the T-side, but it's normalized on cash. So they still have a large job ahead of them if they want this map.
Yeah, but they came into this map too with so much pressure from the community. You realize, like, okay, our LAN performances, like, Thorin was listing them up before. It's like, well, what's your LAN performances up against EnVyUs? Well, crap, and potentially crap. So you needed something to give you an injection of confidence. And to go even on a map like Cash, which has been a big strength of EnVyUs too, this is just a moral victory in itself. It might also affect our upcoming maps too, where they're like, okay, maybe we're not just going to get our asses stomped on LAN for once.
And the big thing too is we didn't see a whole lot of direct mid exchanges. Yes, we saw mid used, but it was usually based on EnVyUs rotating out early, giving it up, or NiP coming in anti-eco rounds where they had the map control to work with. I can almost guarantee EnVyUs going to use it a lot more aggressively. And I have a feeling that by doing that, by letting the smokes down, if Alu can win that pick over the drop, if he can force them off of getting up close and going speedway onto A, you're going to see a lot of vent play, which then means Forest inside B has to be absolutely massive, and they have to have either a second player directly in middle to support Alu, or do they give up that quick rotation to A and focus solely on B by getting 2 players inside the B site? That's going to be the big debate right now. But again, first things first, Alu needs to be strong in mid, otherwise that doesn't even happen. They can't force them either way.
Well, let's see how we go as we get ourselves on the way for the second half of map number 1 here on Cash. EnVyUs up against NiP in our second semi-final, as it is all underway. Looks like to start with EnVyUs, they'll be looking over towards the A. 3 players in through long A, 1 in through A main, then just that floater around the B side. And NiP is ready for this. They got 2 on the deep A, 1 over on the truck. Forest, in fact, even moving up a little bit closer. That's just a good crossfire from NiP here. So EnVyUs, they've got to get these initial hits. The flashes come out, a little bit blinding. Exist walks around the corner. Smith gets the first hit out, and Exist, well, where is it? No, it's not even going to be there. Sorry, it's Gerrard as well as Exist dropping. Forest and Alu, they're playing from truck side. They just can't find any of these initial hits with the pistols.
And with Forest down in a pistol round, it's your best player, arguably, in these positions. Already off the map. Alu does catch Happy, trying to flank around from the backside of middle. As Freiburg still doing damage in toward the site, but he's down on very low HP himself, 23 in fact. Nice nade out the other way though. NBK on 4. If they can get the first shot, they'll bring it back to 2-on-2. But Keo had them lined up and does damage to both, dropping one in the process. And a second peek on Alu. So pistol goes the way of Team EnVyUs.
We turned around from our first series of the day where it was always the CT sides taking the victory. Now it's two T sides here on Cash that take the first pistol round. But at the same time, it also swung around pretty quickly on the second round of the half.
Well, we did it, but we had back-to-back eco, so it actually normalized back to 5-1. It could have been a whole different story, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't orthodox by any stretch of imagination, and again, we're going to see SMGs be the initial buy. We do have a Galil to support the 1AK that Keo's going to grab, but...
I like this quick movement up on the sandbags, but he can't achieve anything anyway. Freiburg's going to drop, at least Exist and get something back. But Keo and NBK teaming up together, and they're going to mop up NiP.
So Alu, all that's left, jumps out and grabs. Okay, actually had time to pull it out and get the shots off. May get more than that, down to 2 HP though, so not able to collect the final frag onto Happy.
He pops the vent to keep Smith looking over that way, but he's going as far away from this bomb plan and EnVyUs lineup as possible. Happy, is he going to look left? He does.
So Envy now get both. And NiP, okay, gonna get very aggressive. Here we go. Scout out for Alu and SMGs. 3 MP7, so this is unorthodox. They're trying to catch Team EnVyUs out right now. The problem is that they have actually upgraded. So NBK's gone for an AK, as has Shocks now. There's only the one MP7 in the hands for Smiths, excuse me.
It means if you can get close up, then you can be really happy about the situation. Get these aggressive smokes, so EnVyUs have to walk into a point-blank range, and that's what it is here in the mid, except Forest, blind as a bat. They're going to boost up through vents. The Molotov checking out the sandbags as Alu moving that scout into mid, but he just backed up at the wrong time. Sees him at white boxes. Keo down low.
Yeah, Keo already found the player that was boosted up in events, so it was worth the gamble, but so far not paying off at all for NiP. And they haven't even knocked any of the rifles out of EnVyUs' hands.
And Shocks making a lot more space. Happy. There's just too many angles for NiP to cover now. They lost too many people. Defense is sparse, and Get Right's going to be brought down by Happy as well. He's really been on the mark for his shots today, be it with the pistol or with the rifles.
And I threw out the term worth the gamble, and perhaps that was premature. I'm not 100% sure that was, because you were in this game. It was close. We were 1 round the difference. Now they've got to save it up. They go to 11 for Envy. And you pretty much got to stay flawless on your CT side just to keep yourself in this, having only got 8 on T. I know that sounds like a lot, but again, we talked about how it's, or at least the analysts talked about how it's been Envy who's been getting all of the T-sided rounds in the recent matchups, and that's exactly what's starting off to be the case. Nice dink out. That does take Shocks down to 3 HP, but MBK is going to find out Freiburg just immediately after. Happy gets Forest as well, and inside mid, Happy does get some decent damage dealt to him by Get Right, but unfortunately no ammo left, so he'll fall in the end.
You've got so many players for EnVyUs. They got damaged so hard. Like Shocks and Happy, they drop so low, but NiP, you just can't get the kill. But now they have weapons. Now they have Alu on that AWP, and we'll see if his bragging about that mid is capable of happening. Can he get the pick off on EnVyUs? Can they control the mid? So much pressure on Alu. I just want to stick with him and see what he can do with this AWP. As here comes that boost again. So EnVyUs are going to come up to the boxes. The Molotov's going to keep him back. Check down, and already exists. Shock just walks straight through it. Alu as well as Forest do team up, so MBK and Kirishima are going to drop.
So Alu does get one of the boosts, but it's not the first player over. Shocks pre-aimed that corner. So even though he got flashed, he already was firing away. Gave him the kill, but there's Alu.
Alu, big.
And Alu's efficiency, we talk again, getting the early pick on the drop's one thing. His efficiency at staying alive late on cash rounds is actually quite remarkable for an off player who's usually engaging early on as well. So 3K already. Happy's going to push all the way through B, try and at least catch out one player. But Freiburg's waiting. So NiP answer completely, and there's your mid shut down. That's confidence for them.
Yeah. Well, what was actually kind of nice about this, like, okay, so Shocks runs through. He gets this almost completely blind up against Exist, but he threw a double flash, and that caught out Forest when he tried to come in and also contest the mid. First one came, it's like, okay, now I can move over to Sandbags and take this position, and maybe contest them as they run out, but the second flash came in, it's completely blind, got picked off, and at that point, you would have thought EnVyUs could control the mid. But big plays by Arlo got his team back into the mix. And there's that first early peak I was looking for from Smiths.
Interesting that they were both stacked up early. I think they were expecting a quicker play out of EnVyUs there. Let's get right now, we're holding essentially the same angle.
There's so many over here. Shox is caught in the corner. Happy's making a lot of noise too.
He's still got about 6 seconds on that smoke. No, it's gone, so he won't be able to cross back over.
Another flash. This gives Exist the time. Yeah, he's going to see the shoulder sticking out. Bring down once. He's a second over on long. And is Happy. And Exist can't finish the job, however. Down to 9 HP. He's got to keep himself alive. That nade right on his toes. And Happy would pick up 2 because he managed to get right too.
Get right just walked in. He would have thought that would have been easy, but reaction shot from Happy.
There's Alu. Able to take out Smith, but Forest in the perfect position. He can't get the kills though. Heavy dinks. 16, 12, and 8. That's the HP. There's Alu and Freiburg left. Freiburg's running up behind Alu though. He's going to go back up through Highway. But the smokes are keeping him pretty well covered. Allow Freiburg to get himself up on top of Cat. And where's the vision? They're already looking for him. He finds Keo. Jumps down. That smoke's going to wear off in a moment. Find the last 2. That's what it's coming down to. Arlo to get the vision, but already there's number 1.
Oh,
Freiburg knows his position. 17 HP, and he can't get the shot. It's going to be MBK. Ninjas in pajamas attempting for the retake, but unable to do it. 12 rounds to 9.
Oh, that dome just caught it out, evened it back up, and then he just sat back and waited for the peak. NBK 3 kills late. You had to say that looked like a huge possibility on that retake. With the HP as it were, they hadn't secured post-plant positionings. In fact, MBK was the only one that had positioning because he never crossed over deep inside the site. And he makes it count, that's for sure.
Look how aggressive now NiP. Pistols, they put all 5 into that mid. They want to hold it tight. 1 box, 1 sandbag, 1 below the jump, and 1 just below the vents.
Look at the bomb. It's in Shox' hand, and he's already inside B. No, he's falling back a little bit. He was going to be your first man in. He was already pretty much up to the entry in the site, and they'll go ahead and get out all the nades just in case. Pistol does do damage. Freiburg tries to, but can't collect the kill. Does take Shox down to 61.
Yeah, that was actually the awesome movement of Alu too. He was right behind to make sure he can punish that mid-garage player. There's a 3-on-3 situation. Considering NiP have been playing around with pistols in this round, it's not too bad. Smith's seen going into the corner, but it doesn't matter when he's got the AK. He'll outshoot Forest. Alu's brought down from heaven. And EnVyUs getting the rounds back to back. They hold on to their three AKs. Or 1 M4, 2 AKs. And inching their way towards that 1 map win.
That's the big thing, is that they are getting that much closer. And NiP are running out of chances. Close rounds that have gone against them, but it doesn't matter in the end. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. In fact, if they had a hand grenade 2 rounds ago, they might have gotten all 3 with it, but they unfortunately didn't throw one out. Happy's going to spay away out towards Squeaky. Shox again inside A main behind this smoke, and NiP with 2 players in middle are slowly rotating back up and favoring off on the highway. So it's actually going to be Alu with the FAMAS who's standing close by with Get Right. And based on the call, they'll run back into the A site. They're already in. That's actual flash goes very deep, so Shox gets pushed up.
He's keeping his eye up towards Cat at the same time. Worried about that back corner, and there's a jump out. Get Right, just sliding across the top of the crates.
Nice peek. Completely unexpected. Jumped over from Catwalk. This smoke wasn't going to hold him. He didn't want any of it, so he takes full advantage of the situation, takes full control. Now Keo has to find this shot on Forest, who has been patient, hasn't peeked out yet, but he's already exposed now and couldn't collect the first shot, as Smith does Get Right in the background.
He's actually locked in a corner. There's nothing he can do. He's about to be attacked from above. Smith's like a vulture, but Exist gives him the cover fire. Required to save the life, and now it's all up to Keo in the mid.
And more importantly than that, that dropped the bomb down on Sandbag. So talk about bailing out your teammate. Keo may get one here, but he still has to play off the back foot to try and get position back his way, and he's not going to have it at all. Exist collects another, and that was a massive kill.
Big round for NiP too. They haven't managed to drag all the money out of EnVyUs yet, but it's that small little dink to their economy. They need to get more rounds like this. When Smith still has 7.3k at the start of the round, yeah, you know they've got a lot in the bank. And NiP, critical round for them. They don't want to be back into the same position we saw Fnatic earlier today, which was 14-10, and you're just having to work through round by round by round, just knowing the match points are so close.
Free flash out to Smiths. Smoke comes in a little bit later, but they're in time no less, and that means it actually can be staggered out a little bit better, so this will delay longer into the round if NiP utilize that correctly. Zalu again back towards Z connector, this time AK-47. Hasn't been able to pull out the op as much as he would like, but they have been able to hold mid in the situations when it's become under threat, last round in particular with just the rifles.
Kind of almost feel like EnVyUs are going for like a second round bait. They made a huge amount of noise over on 8 last time and then went into it. And it sounded like they were running backwards to move over the B side, but this time they're fully connecting onto the A. Get right, that's a really nice nade position while the flash is coming up to Forest. The T's taking a little bit of damage on Keo and Forest. They didn't look up towards Catwalk, and even on the jump onto the box of Smiths, well, Forest, he couldn't finish the job! Found himself running out of bullets in the clip, but now it's a 3-on-3.
And Happy did get right before that, and had Get Right stayed up right there, that would have changed it all back. They would have been able to clean up the rest of the players from EnVyUs. I like the early positioning as Exist does go back into Smith, so this does give the advantage back to NiP.
Shox is like on, okay, yeah. It's like on the other side of the map as now NiP, just one player left. They should know where he was. Freiburg was battling up against him before, and now Shox will finally get the kill. Exist gets a glimpse. But they're jumping up. He's trying to chase him down. He's running out of time for this while the defuse kit is there. Pulls out the USP. Wants to come from above, and he's able to get it, but there's not enough time to get the defuse. He'll back up, but he'll still blow up with the bomb. EnVyUs 14 rounds to 10. NiP in a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble. I like the early positioning from Get Right. They aren't going over in behind quad because they know that EnVy traditionally nade stack or Molotov that out, so all he gets to do is get one early pick, if that, and then he's forced off the position with damage already dealt to him. So rather than get in that awkward, confined space, they actually are playing it more passively on the right side of the site. But that time it fell apart. Happy collecting Get Right.
You're forced into a pistol round on the 25th round when you're 14 behind. This is not what you want to have happen until Alu pulls out.
But look at the damage dealt. Freiburg on 17,
yeah.
Alu 15.
You still get the initial kill, so you can play the numbers advantage, and well, there goes that advantage. They try and play Forest from inside the pit on B side, but not possible to do so with a pistol. So EnVyUs just going to make sure they don't lose any more of these weapons. They're not really that bad as far as money goes, but it's just the fact if Ninjas in Pajamas can get hold of a couple of these AKs, but you leave a little bit more cash for the next round.
Watch Smiths, though. As they confine themselves inside the vent, Smiths is coming around from the backside. In the middle with this AK.
Yeah, there's that first pick over on Exist. Alu wants to try and get the quick pick, but cannot do it. So 15 rounds to 10. And we're staring down the barrel of 5 map points for Team EnVyUs.
That's the big thing, because again, it started off well for NiP, but with only 8 rounds. And again, that early SMG buy catching them out. EnVy's just been able to control. No op coming out for Halu in so many rounds. This time you will have it. We'll see if you can find the pick, but they're not going for that boost. Yeah, they're actually going to run it out toward A main right now with a player out toward long. That's Happy who's in that position.
And just shooting through the walls to push him back.
And they do have Freiburg pushed up at B. And one in the vents, but this still means that Get Right's all by himself on A. So he has to get at least 2 to give the rotation a chance. And that's a lot of pressure to put on him this late in the game. And with that flash coming in, he's not going to get anything. So NBK's already around the corner, and the smokes are out as well. That one flash will catch out Forrest. He can't do anything at all as NBK pushes forward. And it's looking like this could be the map because NiP have no positioning to go for this retake.
Even Alu can't get that shot on the mid, and that's going to mean he's losing Exist, and you can't afford to lose any players here. But it's all or nothing. There's no point just holding back. There is no more after this. Freiburg at least able to find one, switches over towards that AK, but MBK just spamming through the smoke, looking for the tags. Nice nade from Freiburg, bringing to a 2-on-2 situation, but the CT's hurting really hard, and they're running out of time. That bomb is ticking down. There is a defuse kit, but they've lost Freiburg. It's all up to Alu, and there it is, in fact, with the help of Freiburg.